Perfect. Welcome, everybody. It's lovely to see you all live here. Welcome to Empowerment TV. I just got to make sure that I can see people that are logging on here on Facebook. Maybe while you check that for me, I can just make our intros. Welcome to Empowerment TV. This is our first episode where we're starting the Power series, which is the power of blah, blah, blah. So today we're talking about the power of setting and achieving goals. It's January, you know, everybody's talking about their New Year resolutions, their goals, their plans for 2022. 2021 was amazing. So here's a quote for everybody. I've always said this, a wise man once said, ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. But what I have found is most people have stopped asking, seeking, and knocking. I don't know whether that's you. So we want to reignite your passion today that you should start asking, start seeking, and start receiving, which is really, really simple. That's the way life works. So here's my gorgeous partner, Anna.
Hi, everyone.
And yeah, so we're back with this series. Today, we really want to cover, I would say, 3 critical areas. I did on my empowerment and personal development group, I did something around the Diva Vision Creation Blueprint. So I'm going to be touching a little bit on that and maybe expanding on that a little bit. I don't know if you all remember whether you guys have watched that. If you haven't, then jump over to the empowerment and personal development group and we'll be sure to add you onto that. And you can watch that episode that I did there. It's just about 5 or 10 minutes. I think, I don't know, maybe it's 18 minutes. And this video, yeah, we want to expand a little bit more on that. We want to go a little bit deeper. So DIVA stands for D is decide and define what you want. And the I is for inscribe, write it down once you've got it. The V stands for visualization. And the A stands for action. You got to take action on your goals. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but today we want to focus on goal setting and goal achieving. There are 3 key points here. So the first one would be, what's the purpose of a goal? Why do we even need a goal? Secondly, what is goal setting and what is goal achieving? So to kick us off, let's get into it. We haven't got much here. So Anna, what is the purpose of a goal and why do people need a goal?
I think we need a goal in order, to give our life a purpose, really, because if you don't have a goal, if you don't have like the target that you are trying to follow in your life, then you might end up just getting up in the morning and not really knowing where you're going, what are you trying to achieve. So then it might become like a monotonous routine. You get up, you go to work, come back, wash the dishes, make your dinner, wash the laundry, go to bed, and then you will like realize one day, like, why am I doing this? What is it for? So that's why we should really be setting the goals, to realize the purpose of our life, to motivate ourselves to do a bit more, to take some further steps, to go 1 mile further every day, or to run a mile every day. So we achieve the goal, whether it's a small goal that we set or whether it's something big that we said that we want to achieve in a year, 5 years, 10 years, but something that will give us the kick when we are tired, when we feel like we can't go anymore, we are tired, no energy, nothing left in us, something that will motivate us to get out of bed.
Absolutely, I completely agree. So what I took out of that is mainly we need a goal, one, for motivation, for direction, because that's what the purpose in our life. We need direction. And most of us, I speak to a lot of people and they've given up on life. They've given up on themselves. And that's because they don't have a purpose to their life. They don't have a meaning to their life, like Anna just said. But I also think we can take that a little bit further and say, we also need a goal for awareness. I've been rumbling on about awareness. Awareness is actually the big key of life. We got to become aware because, number one, you can't change anything if you're not aware of it. But when you have awareness, you are raising your level of consciousness, as they would say. So think about it for this. And when we look at our lives and we look back, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. My father had 16 kids and 4 wives, and the mentality there was, I lived in a place where, if I look at my environment then, we had a well for our plumbing. We didn't have any plumbing. We didn't have any taps or toilets. We had places in the backyard with a hole in it. That's our toilet, and an empty space for a bathroom. And we washed our clothes through the wells and everything else. So when I look at that environment that I was in and look at the environment that I'm in now, I can see that I have become a better person for setting goals and achieving goals. Does that make sense? So it's not really about the goal itself. It's about who you become in the process of achieving that goal. And I think that's really important. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it gives us the opportunity to grow, whether we achieve the goal at the end or not. But yeah, it's not the top of the mountain is the climb, right?
Exactly. So, and also the view from the mountain as well. So is the climb. When you climb that mountain, what it took to get up that mountain, the tenacity, the energy, the effort makes you a better person. Now you have skill set that you never had before. And I think that's really, really important as well. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. So this is one of the first, so that's the purpose of a goal. Now, let's talk about goal setting, briefly. Now, with goal setting, it's slightly different because goal setting is an intellectual process. And what I mean by that is when you want to set a goal, you have to really sit down and know exactly what it is that you want in life.
Yes. Yeah. I think a lot of us, we don't take the time to think about it because we are so caught up in the daily life that we don't give ourselves the permission to get still and really think about what we want, because often we also think that actually like what we think we want is not quite what we want, because we are under the influence of our family, of our peer group, of our friends, of the environment where we grew up. So if you give yourself the permission and the time to really think about it, you might realize that what you are doing and the direction that you are taking at the moment, it's not quite actually what's your desire and what's your really big goal for your life.
Exactly. I like that because if you think about it, your environment can almost dictate what it is that you want. And most people, they said your environment is even more powerful than heredity, more powerful than your bloodline, because we'll see that we are always influenced by people around us. So when you ask people, what do they want? They look at what their ability is. They look at what their skill set is. They look at what amount of money they could earn. And they usually go for that and go for similar jobs and do similar things. We were both caught up in that for many, many years. I was as well. So it's like when you're setting goals, you have to think greater than your current circumstances. You should underline that, by the way. You have to think greater than your current circumstances. You have to think that you can be and do and have more than what you have right now, because you can. You see, I often share this story about when you put a plant in a dark room and you open a window and some light comes in or some sunlight comes in, that plant will grow towards the light. You and I are no different. We are, for want of a better word, we're light beings, We always want increase. So that is why we're always looking for better circumstances, better situation. We're looking for better clothes, better shoes, better living environment, better jobs. We're always looking for increase, better cars, better houses. We're always looking to expand, That's just inbuilt in human beings. Maybe you started off with a 1-bedroom or studio flat on your own, but then when you got an apartment, you move to a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom apartment. And then when you have a child, then you want to move into a 3-bed house or whatever. You have another child, we're always looking to be better and increase in life. That is just inbuilt in everybody. It's an innate ability that we all have. So if that's the case, why is it that most of the time we just settle? We settle for less than we are. So that's why I say goal setting requires you to think. And I guess it's one of my mentors, Bob Proctor, he said that most people don't think. We think, but we don't. He said what we have is mental activity. That's what we have. Based on what we've seen around and what we've seen, it's all the mental garbage that's going on in our head, all the impressions that we've had accumulated in our mind, and we think that's what we want. It's not what you want. I remember my personal story where, my dad wanted me to become an accountant. And I shared that story with you. My dad wanted me to become an accountant, and he pushed me towards becoming an accountant. And I thought that's what I wanted. I really believe that's what I wanted. You know, I did the first year of AAT, second year, and I did the first year of ACCA, and I realized I don't want to be sat at the desk. I'm an energetic person. I like people. I like to interact. I like to move around. I don't want to be stuck in a desk doing this kind of job. So I quit. And I remember my mom looked at me and said, if your dad was alive, he'd be turning in his grave. Why would you quit? Blah, blah, blah. My mom has not forgiven me till today. But you know what? When I look back, I have no regrets because I'm actually doing what I love to do, and I'm actually doing what I want to do. You see, for most people, they're stuck in that way. And you look at most families, they always encourage their kids to do what they do. You know, if they're a doctor, they want them to become a doctor. If they're a lawyer, they want them to become a lawyer. If they're an engineer, they want them to become an engineer. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, if that's what the child wants to do, right? But in most cases, when I hear people say, don't want to do that, they want to do something else, but they've not thought about it.
Exactly. They don't give themselves the time and the permission to think about it because they don't want to disappoint, you know, because that's the values that they have installed in them, you know, to please someone else. And then a lot of people also carry through their life, you know, they started with pleasing their parents and then they continue pleasing their partner. So I think it's very important also when you are in a relationship with your partner, with your husband, to actually sit down and see, because sometimes the goals for the couple, for each one in the couple might be very different, you know, because we have different careers, we have different hobbies. You like to play golf, I like to do other things. So it's very important to actually discuss this. So it's not that one of the partners is just being dragged by the other one because, you know, we might feel obedient or we might feel like there's no time for it or no money for it or anything. So it's very important to discuss this. So we allow each other to actually pursue our own personal goals, because there's nothing wrong as a family, you know, or as a couple. You should have the overall goal that you are, you know, striving for together, but at the same time you're your own person, you are different people, and inevitably there will be something else that than your partner that you want to do, that you want to achieve. So it's very important to be open about it, to be vocal about it in a calm manner, of course.
I can remember a story about that with you, because I remember when we were in London, you were like, oh, I really want to do this, I really want to do this, but I'm not doing it. I'm like, what do you want to do? And you're like, become a personal trainer. I'm like, well, let's do it. And you're like, really? Yeah. You know, remember that? Remember this story?
Well, I felt like there was no time, no space, and no money for it.
Yeah, there was no time, no space. But you see, this is why it's also important to discuss your wants. That's why I say it's an intellectual process. But then you embarked on it and you became a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, that is one of the moments I've seen you the happiest, because I see you with your clients when you used to coach and train them. And it used to be amazing. That's when you had the most fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, even as couples, we're all individual people. You might have joint goals, which is great, but you also got to have your individual goals that you're striving for. And that's important, you know? So really sit down and think. And thinking requires you to think about something you've not done before. That thinking, okay? Something that you've never achieved at all. As a matter of fact, Bob Potter says your goal should excite you and scare you at the same time. If it doesn't scare you, it's not a goal. So I'll give you an example. If you got a BMW and you set a goal, you know, this year to buy another BMW, well, that's not a goal. You've already achieved it. You see what I mean? You've already got a BMW. But if you set a goal, they say, you know what, I've got a BMW, but I like a Rolls Royce. Now that's a goal. You see? Because you've never achieved it before. You know, it's bigger, it's better, it's more luxurious car. It's like, wow. Now you got to put some effort in and energy in to achieve that goal. So that's a goal. So goal setting does require us to sit back, really think about what we truly want. And I hope you guys are getting that.
Yeah, I think in that process, it's very important to really just like let the passion and thoughts just flow.
Absolutely.
And not restrict yourself based on your current circumstances, because you might think, oh, I don't have money for that. I don't have money for Rolls Royce, or I don't have money to do this course, or like I can't travel because I've never been anywhere, etc.
Yeah.
And, you know, so just write down, you know, just
use your imagination.
Yeah,
right?
just imagine, you know, like go in your own fairy tale. Just write things down and see how passionate you really are about those things, because that's what it is, you know. Like goals should be something that that can scare you at the same time. You are not sure whether you can achieve it. You are not sure how. And a lot of the time we restrict ourselves based on the how, because those things come straight away. Oh, we want to buy a bigger house. How? Like, how are we gonna get the money? Where are we gonna get the money? If we start saving from what we have now, how are we gonna live, etc. So just go for it, and then figure out the how later when you're creating the actions for it. But so dream is something that you are just vivid imagination. That's it, but you can't leave it just there. If you just dream, then we'll be just in fairy tales, all the time, and nothing will ever materialize into our life. That's why dreams have to be turned into goals. So what's the difference between a dream and a goal?
Well, for me, a goal is measurable and it's time and date. It's something that you're going to achieve. You can't just be wishy-washy about it, where you have something in your head and you go, oh, I want that, but you don't know how you're going to get it. It's not realistic for you. So what I'm trying to say is something that you're passionate about. And what I mean by it scares you and excited, it could be a big, audacious goal, but you have a passion towards achieving it and you want to achieve it. There's a saying that says, think about your goal, not the how, but here's what you got to be categorically. You got to believe that you will achieve the goal. The how will come later. And I often share the idea of, if you're driving at night, your headlight can only see 250 miles ahead of you, right? And then when you get there, then you see another 250 miles ahead of you, and that's the same with the goal. So if you're passionate about it, just start to act on it. Then the other steps will come, and we'll talk about the law of attraction, how that works in a minute when we jump into achieving goals. But it is really important on this topic of setting a goal to open the lid of your mind, okay? Because everything's your mind. You live in your mind. Create an idea of you absolutely achieving that goal and believe in it. Once you do that, I promise you, the way will be shown to you. And your job and my job is to follow your intuition, follow your inner voice, and take action, follow through. Remember, I talked about the diva. So you're deciding and defining what you want. You write it down very clearly, very specifically. And we'll talk about how you write it down in a minute when we talk about trying to achieve your goals. And then you visualize daily. Now, there's a real power in visualizing. When you visualize the goal daily, as if you're already living. So for example, if you wanted a house or a car, but you visualize yourself driving that car, living a car, driving it every day. When you visualize that daily, that will prompt you to take the relevant action that you need, because circumstances, situations will become your way. People will come your way. Now, your job is now to follow through and take action on those things. And I promise you, just like night and day, the car will arrive in your driveway. It's as simple as that.
I think the follow through is a very important part, so we are not just left with a vision board and just pretty vision board in your bedroom, but there is you always have to at least take the first step, and then like Tosin said, the whatever comes next, you will see, but you have to at least, take the first step, take some little action, and then your opportunities, new doors will open. Absolutely.
I'll share a little story as we jump into goal achieving, because that's a whole different thing. You see, goal achieving, it's a natural law of the universe. We are naturally success-driven machines if we know how. So how does that work? Because when you set a goal, I'll share the story, and this happens all the time, and most of you have had these experiences. You've just forgotten about it. I'm sure you all have. So here's the story that I'll share with you. We used to run what we call Miss Universe Norfolk in Norwich. And we used to have 250 girls come to an event, and we select 26 girls for the final. And we will run a big event for them. We take them through media training, take them through catwalking, interviews, all of that. We give them real life skills. And these girls, we build up their confidence. And they go on stage and they have a 3-round competition where they do a swimwear round, a casual round, and a nightgown round. And once they've done that, we select first runner-up, second runner-up, and the winner for Miss Universe Norfolk. And then all 3 of them go and represent Norfolk in Miss Universe GB at the Miss Universe event, which is phenomenal. And so we used to run that for a couple of years. But the first year we did it, we spend a lot of our own money in it. It's not cheap. It costs £8,000, and we probably spend like £4,000 of our own money in it. Now, the next year, I decided to set a goal and said, we will get a sponsor. And I made it very clear, we will get a sponsor for this event. So I wrote it down. It was very specific, very, very clear, and the specific amount that we needed. I had to put 10K there because we knew 10K will cover the whole event. It cost us about 8K to run the first event. And we put it on and we set it up. Now, at the time, me and my ex were looking for a new place to live. So we're searching for houses. The goal was set, everything was written. This is how the unconscious mind works. You see, your unconscious mind always finds the least effort to bring about that goal to you once you have a clear, defined purpose for it. I want you to underline that. There's a clear, defined purpose. It's not that I want money. Why do you want more money? There must be a reason why you want more money. I need more money for a wedding. I need more money for a new house. I need more money for a new car. There must be a specific, defined purpose for why you want what you want. If there isn't, folks, forget it. So it's got to be defined. It's got to be absolute clarity. So we're looking at this house. Immediately we saw the house, we knew we didn't like the house. And you have that feeling. You go to a house, you look at it, you go, it's not for me. We knew, but we thought, let's just have a look at it anyway. So we had to look at the house anyway, viewed the house, came back down. We were leaving. Thank you very much. We were leaving, and the guys, you need to check out the garage. And now we're looking at it, why do we need to check the garage? We don't need to check the garage. But we thought, you know what? Let's just be nice and be cordial. Let's go check the garage. The garage was actually quite big. Actually, out of the whole house, the garage was huge. It was a double garage, it was big, it was massive. We walked into the garage, and literally, I saw in the corner of my eye an umbrella, and the umbrella said Angel Champagne. But even then, it didn't click. And the guy was there. I said, what's this? He goes, he says, my boss, the boss that I work for, and Mariah Carey, they're the organizers or the creators of this Angel Champagne. And we do a lot of sponsorship. He says, and he mentioned Drogba, who used to play for Chelsea at the time. He goes, we just sponsored his charity event. We just sponsored it by 100 grand. I was like, wow, interesting. Blah, blah. Even then, my brain didn't click. So we were talking about it, and I thought, interesting. He goes, do you want the umbrella? I thought, you're going to give me umbrella? I don't mind, thank you. So he gave me the umbrella. I was like, thank you very much. Thank you for showing us around, blah, blah, blah. And as we were walking out, my brain then connected my goal and said to me, immediately, we're walking, we're leaving. And I saw Angel Champagne. And the thought and the reminder came to my brain, and he said, this is your sponsor. And I stopped, and I stopped my partner. I said, stop it. This is our sponsor. Literally, I just stopped in my track, and I turned around, went back to the guy and said, Steve, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but listen, you guys are local here to Norfolk. We run a local charity. This is what it is. This is what we do. This is how we do it, blah, 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 blah. By the end of that 10-minute conversation, he says, leave it with me, Tosin. Let me see what I could do. They were the sponsor that season, 10 grand. They sponsored the whole event. Actually, they even gave the winner one of this huge, big 2,000 bottle champagne, So this is what I'm trying to say to you. Once you set a goal, and you're using your visualization to visualize it, and you believe it. That's the key ingredient here. You believe it. We're talking about goal achieving now, and you believe it. I promise you, now, circumstances, situation that you have no clue about, your unconscious mind will find the least effort way to achieve that goal for you. You got to try it out yourself. Don't believe me, but I have so many stories like that. And I'm sure if you look back at your life, you have stories like that. I mean, we have many stories like that we've done things and we say, how the hell are we going to do it? But we focus on it, we believed in it, and then voila, it happens. It happens. You see, that's how the law of attraction works. I hope this is benefiting you guys out there, because it's really important to focus on what you want and believe in your goal. Anything to add to that? Because I know you can share your story about how you achieved some of your goals.
Few of them. No, I think it's very important to be emotionally invested in it.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think I want to stress how take some kind of an action, because it's not gonna just fly in and come in and knock your door. You should be the one knocking the door, not the opportunity.
What did you do when we talk about the incantation? How did that help you with the visualization and creating the goal? Because you manifested the dog, you manifested your job. So how did you do that?
So incantation, I think that's probably a topic that we should do on its own.
On its own.
Maybe even
Yeah.
maybe even next week.
Maybe, yes. we
But
could do
yeah,
that.
it's something that helps you. Well, okay, so guys, just wait for the next week, and we will talk about that. It will help you to achieve your goals. But in just a simple sentence, is something that helps you to get emotionally and physically connected to your goal, to create like even a stronger bond with your goal, and well, help you to achieve it really.
Absolutely. So here's an exercise for all of you. I said we'll give you a gift. There's a couple of gifts, by the way. So the first one is you got to think of, sit down and really set your goals. Think of 15 things that you want, or 20 or 30 things.
That's quite a lot.
But it has to be that. He has to, there's a reason, by the way, and I'll explain. Think of 15 things that you want and 30 things that you want. And the reason why I say that, it has to be 15 or 30. It can't be any more than that. And the reason why I say that is you're going to break it up into 3. Category A, category B, category C. So there'll be 5 A's, 5 B's, 5 C's, or there'll be 10 A's, 10 B's, and 10 C's. Very specific. All right. And in the beginning, you'll find that you're writing a lot of the things that you see around, that you want around you, blah, blah, blah. But towards the latter end of it, you really have to now think about what it is that you truly want. And then what I want you to do is to categorize them into order of priority. Okay? So you label them A, B, C, D, 5 A's, 5 B's, 5 C's. Once you've labeled them in order of importance, so A's are probably the most important ones to you, then the B's are the next, and then the C's are the least important to you. But obviously they're all important. They're all in your goals. And then what you're going to now do is you're going to now take some time and you're going to now look at your A1 goals. And you're going to, sorry, your A goals, sorry, I'm jumping the gun there. Look at your A goals and you're going to label it and see which one is the most important, as in A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. And if you have 10 things, A6, A7, A7, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once you've had that down, you then take your A1 goal, because that's your number A1 goal. That's the most important goal to you. And remember, if you watch my video, and I'll say it again, if you watch my my phrase of the day that I did around the Diva Creation Blueprint, I was talking about when we set goals now, we pick 1 goal, 2 goals, or 3 goals, no more than 3 goals. Why do we do that? What's the reason behind just picking 1, 2, or 3 goals?
Also, you can keep your focus, because if there is too many things, you'll have to shatter your efforts and shatter your thoughts and onto too many things. Well, like with anything, if you go all in on something, on 1, 2, or 3 things, it's much better than 15 things. Absolutely.
So you want to focus no more than that. But I say your A1 goal will be your biggest goal. And when I say that, I mean, when we look at our lives and our goals, and we're setting goals now, we look at, okay, this year, what is the number 1 thing that we want to achieve this year? That if we achieved it, it's going to be impactful, it's going to be beneficial to our family, our business, and everything overall. 1 big thing. And we focus on that 1 big thing. Or it could be, what is the biggest impact in our business today that we could look at that's going to make the biggest difference this year? If we achieve that, we're happy. Or what could it be, health-wise or health goals, that what's 1 big thing that we can achieve this year together? And once we achieve that, we're happy. And then the next year we look for something else. And the reason why I say that is this. If you are somebody that set goals but never achieved them, and set goals and achieve them. So it's not about setting goals or achieving goals. It's really about what is it that's really driving you and motivating you. And if you haven't set goal and achieved it before in the past, it can be a bit demoralizing, when you set 5, 6, 7 goals and you didn't achieve 1 of them, or you didn't achieve anything. And then the next year you set more goals, you didn't achieve it. Like people that set New Year resolutions, which doesn't work. And they set it, and then the next year they go, oh, I didn't achieve that. Or they join the gym, and after 3 months, they forget it, and they keep paying the monthly rent, but they forget to go for the rest of the year. So that doesn't work. It's demoralizing, it's depressing. So this is why we say, if you get into the habit of setting 1 thing, and you achieve that 1 thing, you're happy, you're energized, you're like, wow, we did it. And all of a sudden you set another one. If you get used to doing that on a regular basis, what's going to happen is, now you can set 3, 4, 5 things if you want.
Yeah, you have to anchor that the feeling of achieving it. You know, you have to anchor that
Correct.
process. You have to get emotionally connected with the success. So you have to experience it once. So start with something small.
Start with something small.
Yeah.
Something small.
And then increase the.
Yeah. A simple example could be, okay, you want to move to a bigger house this year, and you guys achieved it. You move into a bigger house, you settled in for the year. Wow, that was a great year. You know, the next year could be, oh, we want to buy a dream car. And you worked hard and you bought your dream car that year. That's a phenomenal year. You celebrate that, you know?
To be honest, like when Joseph said about the house, I'm like, okay, that's not a small goal, you know, like go for something small. For instance, okay, I have a good example. Okay, so this month I wanted to start working, actually putting more hours in work. You know, like I want to increase the hours. And my goal, okay, it doesn't have to be like a yearly goal. It has to just start with something small. And my goal was to do like 30 hours this week. And Tosin was like, oh, don't worry, you know, if you don't do like 30 hours this week, you can do more next week, or like, who cares? It's not important, you know, for like, it's not like anyone in my job requires me to do that, because I actually have another job than just working with Tosin, or that I like need to put in the hours for finances or anything. It's the fact that it's the first week of January. I'm like, if I do it this week and I like know that I can do it and I get emotionally connected to it, and I had this one little small win. Okay, like I set a goal for the first week that I will do 30 hours. Then, you know, like it's a good start of the year for me. Okay, I have achieved this one small thing for myself, and then I can keep on with my wins.
Yeah. So what she's trying to say is, so she does 30 over this week, the next week, another 30. All of a sudden, it becomes a habit. If she does that consistently over the next 3 months, over 90 days, she now will be doing that consistently. Does that make sense? So that's what I mean by small wins. So you achieve one goal. It's a big impactful goal for you. Now you've got a win. Now you've got that confidence. You do it again and you do it again. What does that do to your belief system? It's huge, right? It's huge. It's like, it can be done. What I find is most people set so many goals. They may achieve one or two, but if they didn't achieve all these other goals, it's not a failure. They've done well. They have to focus on what they've done. So rather than having too many things to focus on, just go for 1, 2, no more than 3 things. That is my advice. That's just my suggestion. You know, you could do whatever you want, but I find if you take one thing, you achieve another one. When you do that over a period of time, regularly over the next 3, 4, 5 years, now all of a sudden you can pick 2, 3, 4, 5 things, because now you've got the concept in your brain, in your mind, of achieving those goals. Does that make sense? Yep. Now it's a lot easier. So what we're talking about here is not for people that are achieving goals and doing it. You know, there's some people that just go, I want that, and then they just go for it and do it. That's fine. They do it. There are people like that. There are always exceptions to the rule. I'm talking to those people that have been trying, struggling to make goals, and they haven't done it yet. You know, start small, gradually build those wins, get those, how would I put those success systems into your body, you know, feel those vibes of what that feels like, tastes like, sound like, and then go for it. Once you've done it once, you do it again and you do it again, you do it again. It's a bit like the 4-minute mile, right? You know, Roger Bannister broke it and everybody after did it. So you have to do it first. Okay, if you can't do it first, then goal achieving is going to be a struggle for you. Remember, it's a natural process. You know, there's a law about that. They said, you know, I think it was Carnegie that says, any idea that is held in the mind, that is feared or revered, will begin as one to clothe itself in the most physical form that's available to it. Any idea. So any thought that you consistently impregnate into your brain and you visualize daily and you see yourself doing it, it has to happen. It's a law. It's a natural law of the universe. You know, we talk about seeds. You know, farmers, they could take a seed, a carrot, a cabbage seed, and plant it, and they could tell you in 180 days, that's going to manifest. Because they've done it so many times. You know, people get pregnant. We know, everybody knows 9 months, they're going to deliver. You don't say, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I'm not going to deliver. Bar any other complications or any other issues, there may be 2 weeks premature, 2 weeks late, or a month late, or a week late. That happens. But everybody knows, generally speaking, 9 months, a baby will be born. Everybody knows that. But when it comes to your goals and your ideas, we don't know that. So there's a law that says there is an incubation period for a non-physical seed to grow. There is a gestation and incubation period for a non-physical seed to manifest. Now, nobody knows when it's going to, so therefore you and I, we have to guess at a date, and it will be well wise to put a date, stamp, and a time that we want to achieve our goals, because there's a law that says when you put a time to something, to achieve something, the time will expand to fill the time you've allotted for it. Okay, it's a universal law. So therefore, goal achieving is a natural, universal law process. So you got to set a goal. We're going to achieve that in 3 years. We're going to achieve that in 1 year. It doesn't matter. Now, if you work and you did everything you had to do, and you haven't achieved the goal in 1 year or 2 or 3 years, what you got to do is not change the goal, just give yourself a bit of extension of time. And if most people are actually honest, you look at it and you say, I didn't really put all of my energy or my effort into that goal, so I didn't really achieve it. You know, that's what usually happens in my experience anyway. But anything that I've said I put my time and effort and energy into, I've always accomplished. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that what's really important is to treat the goal like a project. And for any project, if you're at work, you know, when you do a project, you have to break it down to smaller tasks. And those small tasks are your wins. So you have to, for instance, if you want to lose weight, so like do it gradually, you know, or I don't know, you want to have a six-pack at the end of the year, but yeah, yeah, that's my example here. But you can do, okay, so 1st of January, I stop eating sugar, I stop eating bread, I will run 5 miles a day, I will go to gym every day. Well, that's not gonna happen. You will get exhausted, you will fall flat on your face, and you won't want to continue because you did not have that pleasant experience. So the first task would be start small. So first week, I will make sure I drink 2.5 liters of water a day. Go Monday to Sunday, 2.5 liters, done. Tick it on your checklist or close the task as it's done and go to the next one. And just make sure you review the process as well, you know, because sometimes you can get lost, you can derail. So if you have like little steps,
you can relapse, yeah.
You can relapse on bread and sugar.
On bread and sugar.
But if you have those like small steps planned out, at least for a certain time,
90 days, I say.
90
Definitely,
days.
3 months.
And then go, you know,
days.
to the next one, or a month, you know, or any kind of like a certain period, but at least plan something out, something that you can review, something that you can get back to, something that you can change in case there have been some unforeseen circumstances that came across, and you have to adjust it. There's nothing wrong with adjusting. You know, we can't just go like on the highway, just straight. There can be a roadblock.
There can be roadblocks,
but
like relapse and then restart
around,
again.
You know, it's like when you're going from Paris to London, you know the route. Well, now I'm talking driving. You cannot fly. That would be too easy. But you know the route. You have the route on your sat nav, and when your sat nav can see that there is a roadblock, it will reroute. But the goal is still the same.
It's still the same. The destination is still the same.
Yeah. So focus on your destination, but always make sure that you break it down into small pieces, and you keep yourself accountable as well. I think we are like getting into so many things, and we are already past the time.
Yeah, which is fine, but this is really good, because now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of the juice. I have a really good example of what you're telling people. A small example is running. When I want to get back into running in 2018, I started again, and it was hard because before that, I used to run 5-6 miles a day, easy. You know, I could eat whatever I wanted. I had a chiseled stomach. I was fit. I was healthy, but circumstances changed, you know, children and everything else, blah, blah, blah. And the weight came on. I was 36, you know, belly was out, you know, eating the wrong food and the wrong stuff, enjoyed my bread and, you know, cakes and all that stuff and tea. And it was hard work getting down to start running again, because you have to put a lot of effort and energy in the beginning. But I said, if you do something for 90 days, it kicks in, it becomes a habit for you, you know, in my case anyway. And when I look back, and I think I shared this on my video as well that I did, Empowerment and Personal Development Group, I shared that, you know, in the last 3 years, when I look back, I've actually run 2 miles a day, every day. 365 days, 365, 300, for 3 years straight, 2 miles a day. You break it down like that, it's pretty simple. That's 130 miles every single year. Now, this is just me. I'm not comparing back to, I know people that run 120 miles a month, they're on a different level and a different league entirely, but that's me. I'm not comparing myself to anybody. As Anna was saying, you take that little baby steps. Now, it doesn't mean I ran 2 miles every single day, because that's not true. On some days, I usually have a longer run at the weekend. On a Saturday, I might do a half a marathon, 10 miles, 11 miles, 12 miles, 14 miles, 6 miles, 8 miles. But during the day, I might run 6 miles, 5 miles, 4 miles, and it's all varied. And some days I wouldn't run at all. I'm busy, I'm flying, I'm doing other stuff, so I wouldn't run at all. But we're saying on average, when I looked at the whole last 3 years, 2 miles a day. That's amazing, So if you were to do something, because often people think they have to do huge things to change their life. They don't. You have to do a little bit of things. If it's 30 minutes in the gym, but 30 minutes consistently every single day over a period of time, we'll see the biggest result. I said just drinking 2 liters of water, just that every single day for a period of time, 2-3 years, you will see a massive result in terms of your health and your skin and how it looks and how you digest your food. So it's not about huge things, because if I miss 4 days in the gym and I go back to the gym and I try to do all of those days I've missed in one go, forget it, you won't last. You won't even enjoy the experience. As I say, trying to do 5-6 hours in the gym, carry all the way, you'll be dead. It's too much. So basically, if I miss 4 days, I've got to ease myself back into it to get back to the level I was. So if I miss 4 days, I usually run 45 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour. But if I get back, I'll probably do 30-minute run, ease myself into it a little bit. And I wouldn't run as fast as I do, because when I do 30-minute runs, I increase the speed. So every 5 minutes, up, every 5 minutes, up, till I get to 30. So by 30, I might either doing 10 miles an hour, I'm going really fast. But I will refuse to do that. When I start, I might do 7 and then just run the entire thing at 7 and just ease myself into it for 30 minutes. Then the next day I come back again, I can increase it again. So I get back to the level I was when I stopped. And that's always going to be the case about setting goals. I think we're going really deep now, but the exercise for you guys. We
are going into power of habits at the moment.
Yeah, the power of habits. The real thing for you guys to understand is, what is the purpose of a goal? As a recap, well, the purpose of a goal is literally for awareness, for growth, for learning, for your self-development, for direction, for focus, and for motivation. That's the purpose of a goal. What's goal setting? Well, goal setting is an intellectual exercise. So please think bigger than your current circumstances. Think what you want and open the lid of your mind. One question to ask yourself is, what would it be like if what you are earning every single month is what you're now earning, what you're earning every single year is what you're now earning every single month? Think about that for a minute. Is that a possibility for you? Most people don't even believe that. They don't believe it's even possible. But I'm here to tell you it is possible. And hundreds of people out there are doing it. There's no different from you to them. So think about it. What are you earning yearly? Imagine yourself now earning that every single month. Wow. That's exactly right, isn't it? You say wow, and then you say it backwards. Wow. So that's a way of opening your mind and thinking freely without any restrictions. Because here's the thing, if you could not fail and you could achieve anything you wanted, what would you choose? Because remember, you're the actor, you're the actress, you're the director, you're everything in your movie. It's your own movie. It's your own advert. So you write down what it is that you want. Reality is how you see it. It's not how I see it, it's not how she sees it, it's how you see it for yourself. So that's goal setting. Allow your mind to be open. And then finally, goal achieving, it's a natural universal process. You got to find a date and a time that you want to achieve that goal, and you got to go to work. One of the biggest work you could do there is visualization daily. Visualize it daily. Write your goal down. Be specific. When I say specific, present or past tense, something you are doing or something you've already done. Okay. For example, would be, I wish I could live in a 3-bedroom house with a big garden. That's a wish. You say, I am living in a 3-bedroom house with a big garden. That's how you write it. Put a lot of emotions, add a lot of pictures to it. When you expand on your A1 goal, as we talked about, expand on it, open it, see lots of pictures, lots of images. The other thing you could do with that is to help you with the visualization and the achieving of it. You could record it. We have an app on the phone called Voice Loop. And Voice Loop, you can record your A1 goal in the present tense, you achieving everything, record it in there, you can play it back to yourself, and it will just automatically loop itself. It will play to the end, start again, play to the end, start again. So that's what we call conditioning 101. You can condition your mind to achieving your goal for yourself by using that app. It's a really valuable app. So try that. And then that's really it, folks. The last gift I wanted to give you is our very good friend, Anita and Avnish. They're doing a vision workshop in the UK, and it's on the 16th of January. I believe it's a Sunday.
Yeah,
right?
Sunday the 16th.
Sunday, the 16th. And they're doing it live online. So anyone from all around the world, you could join in. And we post a link. I think you post a link.
Yeah, I shared the event on our page, so you can see it there, and you can join them next Sunday, the 16th.
The 16th. Join them. If you're somebody that really wants to take this seriously and make 2022 the best year yet for you, join them. They do a phenomenal job. They do a fantastic vision creation workshop, and they have lots of people there, families and kids, and it's like a family affair, creating and designing their dream board, a dream wall, whatever it may be. And we might share ours with you next week.
Yeah. So next week, Power of Incantation.
Yeah, so next week we'll be talking about the power of incantation. So don't miss that one. You want to be here. We'll be sharing some really valuable tips. Following on from this one, that is when you know exactly what you want. How do we now impress that into our unconscious mind over the next 90 days with using the power of incantation? We'll share that with you. As Tony Robbins would say, if you're not doing incantation 15 to 20 minutes a day, you're not doing what I teach. So we'll be sharing that with you. That's what took Tony from earning $30,000 a year to $1 million a year in 1 year, the power of incantation. So we share that with you next week. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We've had no kind of like schedule or routine for it. We didn't know how it's going to be. We just wanted to start the first episode and see how it goes. So please give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. And by the way, we got so caught up and wrapped up in that, we forgot about you, the viewers. Whether you're viewing this live, you can give us some likes and love. If you're watching on replay, we'd love to hear your views around it. Tell us what you think. And if there are any other topics that you'd like us to share, just put it there. We call it the power of whatever, we'd like to share with that. We will be happy to look at it, review it, and come up with something around that topic for you as well. It's not just what we dream up, but we've got so many stuff for you in the power of series. So it could be the power of anything, the power of forgiveness, the power of relationship, the power, whatever. It's just called the power of series. So we hope you guys are going to enjoy this series with us. We've thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Anna, any last words you want to say before I wrap up? Any last words?
No.
You're looking at me and smiling. Any last words?
Getting ready for your quote.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for my quote. So I'm saying, any last words?
Stay on track and break things down to smaller actions and get yourself some small wins on a daily basis.
Fantastic. So in conclusion, I want you guys to hear this quote. It is, the mind is like a parachute. It only functions until it's open. Open your mind today, folks. And we'll see you next week for another episode. Take care and God bless. Namaste.